Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses India-ASEAN Summit, says the relations withstood the test of COVID period. Prime Minister to embark on a 5-day visit to Italy and UK tonight to attend G20 Summit and World Leaders Summit of COP26. Union Government to launch mega door-to-door vaccination drive Har Ghar Dastak next month to speed up COVID inoculation. India's vaccination coverage crosses 104 crore mark. Recovery rate improves to 98.2%. In Jammu and Kashmir, 10 people killed in a road accident in Doda district. Prime Minister announces ex gratia. Finance Ministry asks all ministries to clear Air India's dues. Sudanese soldiers open fire on pro-democracy protesters, 10 killed. And in T20 World Cup cricket, Sri Lanka to take on Australia in their Super 12 match in Dubai this evening. As India created history by administering 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today expressed hope that India-ASEAN friendship in the COVID era will keep strengthening relations in future and form a base for goodwill between the people. Addressing the 18th Asean-India Summit via video conferencing, Mr. Modi said due to COVID-19, all had to face a lot of challenges. He said this challenging time was also a test of India-ASEAN friendship.
COVID-19 महामारी के कारण हम सभी को अनेक चुनौतियों से जूझना पड़ा, लेकिन यह चुनौतीपूर्ण समय भारत आसियान मित्रता की कसौटी भी रहा। कोविड के काल में हमारा आपसी सहयोग, आपसी संवेदना भविष्य में हमारे संबंधों का बल देते रहेंगे, हमारे लोगों के बीच सद्भावना का आधार रहेंगे।
The Prime Minister emphasized that history has witnessed that India and ASEAN have had vibrant relations for thousands of years.
आसियान की यूनिटी और सेंट्रलिटी भारत के लिए सदैव एक महत्वपूर्ण प्राथमिकता रही है। आसियान की यह विशेष भूमिका भारत की एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी, जो हमारी सिक्योरिटी एंड ग्रोथ फॉर ऑल इन द रीजन यानी सागर नीति में निहित है। भारत के इंडो पैसिफिक ओशन इनिशिएटिव और आसियान के आउटलुक फॉर द इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र में हमारे साझा विजन और आपसी सहयोग का ढांचा है।
Mr. Modi said the unity and centrality of ASEAN has always been an important priority for India. Mr. Modi underlined that the year 2022 will mark the completion of 30 years of India-ASEAN partnership and India will also complete 75 years of its independence.
वर्ष 2022 में हमारी पार्टनरशिप के 30 वर्ष पूरे होंगे। भारत भी अपनी आजादी के 75 वर्ष पूरे करेगा। मुझे बहुत हर्ष है कि इस महत्वपूर्ण पड़ाव को हम आसियान भारत मित्रता वर्ष के रूप में मनाएंगे। भारत आगामी अध्यक्ष कंबोडिया और हमारे कंट्री को कोऑर्डिनेटर सिंगापुर के साथ मिलकर आपसी संबंधों को और गहन बनाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today underlined the centrality of ASEAN in India's vision for the Indo-Pacific. He also noted that partnership with ASEAN is a key pillar of India's Act East policy. Speaking to reporters on India-ASEAN Summit, Secretary East in the External Affairs Ministry Riva Ganguly Das informed this. She said the leaders of India and ASEAN have declared the year 2022 as ASEAN-India Friendship Year as it marks 30 years of ASEAN-India partnership. Ms. Das also informed that a series of activities will be conducted round the year to commemorate this.
The year 2022 is a landmark year. As you are aware, we are celebrating 75 years of India's independence in 2022 as Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. It also marks 30 years of Asean-India partnership, and to mark this important milestone, the leaders of India and ASEAN have declared the year 2022 as Asean-India Friendship Year. ASEAN and India will be conducting a series of activities round the year to commemorate this important occasion.
Former Ambassador Skand Tayal opines that Prime Minister and ASEAN leaders will review the progress made last year and make the roadmap of the coming year.
India-ASEAN summit has its own logic, its own history and its own achievements. Now in 2022, it will be the 30 years of India-ASEAN relations. And the summit, Prime Minister Modi and the leaders of 10 ASEAN countries will review the progress made in the last 1 year and also give the roadmap for the coming year. And ASEAN leaders have been able to come together and send a very strong signal to the government of Myanmar that they should honor the democratic principles and human rights principles.
Our correspondent reports important regional and international developments, including post-pandemic economic recovery, will be discussed at the summit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a 5-day visit to Italy and the United Kingdom tonight to attend the 16th G20 Summit and the World Leaders Summit of COP26. During the first leg of his visit, Mr. Modi will reach Rome to participate in the G20 Summit on the 30th and 31st of this month at the invitation of Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi. The summit will be attended by heads of state of G20 member countries, the European Union and other invited countries and international organizations. Mr. Modi will also hold several bilateral meetings, including with the Prime Minister of Italy, on the sidelines. Following this, Prime Minister Modi will leave for Glasgow to attend the World Leaders Summit of the 26th Conference of Parties, COP26, to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Director General at the Indian Institute of Sustainable Development and Carbon Minus India Initiative, Dr. Srikanth K. Panigrahi, said that India's commitment towards prevention of climate change will come to fore during Prime Minister visit to Glasgow.
India has always played a decisive role, leadership role in the planet, particularly in preventing climate change and taking aggressive climate action. Prime Minister Modi will be there during the beginning period of the summit, and along with Prime Minister of UK, Boris Johnson, he will be promising and releasing that is India's leadership drive, one sun, one world, one grid.
Our correspondent reports that post-pandemic economic recovery will be figured during the summit.
The grouping of the world's 20 major economies has emerged as premier global forum for international economic cooperation, and this will be the 8th G20 summit that Prime Minister Modi will be attending. This summit under the Italian presidency is centered around the theme People, Planet, Prosperity. It focuses on the areas of recovery from the pandemic and the strengthening of global health governance, economic recovery and resilience, climate change and energy transition, and sustainable development and food security. India is scheduled to host the G20 summit in 2023 for the first time. At COP26 in Glasgow, the parties will work to achieve the completion of Paris Agreement implementation guidelines, the mobilization of climate finance, actions to strengthen climate adaptation, technology development and transfer, and keeping in reach the Paris Agreement goals of limiting the rise in global temperatures. The periodic conference of parties to United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change have emerged as global climate summits, providing an opportunity for stock-taking and for charting the way forward. Divakar, AR News, Delhi.
Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia said that health was never linked to development in the country in the past. Speaking at the inaugural session of CII's Asia Health 2021 on transforming healthcare for better tomorrow, Dr. Mandavia today said health earlier meant only treatment. It reflected in budget and government policies. The minister highlighted how Prime Minister Narendra Modi has started working on the different aspects of the health sector. He said preventive care can also be a part of health care. Now the country is having Khelo India. The minister quoted the Prime Minister that playing can keep people mentally and physically fit. He said Prime Minister Modi also emphasized on yoga, and all these are important as part of preventive care.
Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia interacted with the health ministers of the states and UTs at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi yesterday. The meeting discussed ramping up of COVID-19 vaccination drive and also PM Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission, which was launched on Monday. Talking to media after the meeting, the health minister said the government is going to launch a mega vaccination campaign, Har Ghar Dastak, with a view to speed up COVID-19 vaccination drive. Under the campaign for the next 1 month, healthcare workers in all the states will visit door to door to vaccinate people eligible for the second dose and also those who have not taken the first dose. Mr. Mandavia said that 48 districts of the country have also been identified where vaccination of the first dose is less than 50% of the eligible population. Under this campaign, the focus will be on speeding up COVID-19 vaccination drive. More than 104 crore 4 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 49 lakh 9,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The ministry said that a total of 16,156 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. India's active caseload stands at 1,60,989, which is the lowest in 243 days. Active cases account for less than 1% of total cases and is currently at 0.47%, the lowest since March 2020. The recovery rate is currently at 98.2%, which is the highest since March last year. Over 17,000 people recovered in the last 24 hours, and total recoveries touched over 3 crore 36 lakh and 14,000. The weekly positivity rate currently stands at 1.19%, which is less than 2% for the last 34 days. Daily positivity rate is at 1.25%, which is less than 2% for the last 24 days.
In West Bengal, the number of new COVID cases is again on the rise with 976 fresh cases and 15 fatalities in the past 24 hours. Kolkata reported 272 new cases of COVID-19, while North 24 Parganas recorded 159 cases. President Nadkovind is on a 3-day visit to Gujarat from today. He was received by Governor Acharya Devvrat and Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel at Ahmedabad Airport a short while ago. Our correspondent reports that the President is scheduled to visit Bhavnagar district tomorrow.
According to the official sources, President Nath Kovind will inaugurate the housing scheme project for economically weaker sections at Bhavnagar tomorrow. 1,088 affordable homes have been built at the cost of 63 crore rupees. President Kovind will also hand over the keys to 5 families on this occasion. He will also visit the Chitrakoot Dham ashram of Saint Murari Bapu at Talgajada village in Bhavnagar district. Today, President Kovind will stay at Raj Bhavan in Gandhinagar. He will also meet the judges of Gujarat High Court on a high tea later today. Yogesh Pandya, Air News, Ahmedabad.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that innovation is a key driver of the knowledge-based economy. speaking at the inaugural ceremony of new campus of Sant Sohiro Banat MBA Government College of Arts and Commerce at Pedne in Goa today, Mr. Naidu said India, with its edge in information and communication technology and an educated young population, has the potential to become a world leader in the knowledge-based economy. Right ecosystem for research and innovation has to be created to thrive in our universities, he said.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses India-ASEAN Summit, says the relations withstood the test of COVID period. Prime Minister to embark on a 5-day visit to Italy and UK tonight to attend G20 Summit and World Leaders Summit of COP26. Union Government to launch mega door-to-door vaccination drive Har Ghar Dastak next month to speed up COVID inoculation. India's vaccination coverage crosses 104 crore mark. Recovery rate improves to 98.20%. In Jammu and Kashmir, 10 people killed in road accident in Doda district. Prime Minister announces ex gratia. Finance Ministry asks all ministries to clear Air India's dues. Sudanese soldiers open fire on pro-democracy protesters, 10 killed. And in T20 World Cup cricket, Sri Lanka to take on Australia in their Super 12 match in Dubai this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 10 passengers travelling in a minibus were killed and several others seriously injured after the vehicle skidded off the road and fell into a deep gorge on Batot-Kishtwar highway in Doda district of Jammu division this morning. Our correspondent reports that the minibus was on its way from Thatri to Doda when it met with the accident near Soigwari area, 6 kilometres ahead of Puldoda, after the driver lost control on the steering and the bus fell downhill along the banks of Chenab River. Soon the locals, along with police and army, started a rescue operation. So far 10 bodies were retrieved from the spot, while 13 injured have been shifted to Government Medical College Hospital in Doda for treatment. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has offered condolence for the deaths in the road accident at Thatri in Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. Modi said an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees each from the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund would be given to the next of kin of those who have lost their lives, and the injured would be given 50,000 rupees. Union Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, Dr. Jitendra Singh, said all assistance will be provided to local authorities. The minister also paid condolences to the families of those killed in the road accident. The rescue operation was on till reports last came in. Ministry of Finance has directed all ministries and departments of central government to clear pending dues of Air India and purchase tickets from the airline in cash. The direction came after Air India stopped extending credit facility on purchase of air tickets. The Government of India has decided to disinvest Air India, and the process of disinvestment of Air India and Air India Express is ongoing. The government has signed a share purchase agreement with Tata Sons for strategic disinvestment of national carrier Air India.
As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day. 28th October is the birth anniversary of the revolutionary and social activist Sister Nivedita. Born as Margaret Elizabeth Noble in Ireland on October 28, 1867, she belonged to a family of revolutionaries. Her grandfather, John Noble, father, Samuel Richmond, and her maternal grandfather, Hamilton, were in the forefront of the Irish freedom struggle.
After completing her college education, she took to teaching for 10 years from 1884 to 1894. Sister Nivedita met Swami Vivekananda in 1895 in London and travelled to Kolkata in 1898. She became Swami Vivekananda's disciple, who gave her the name Nivedita, meaning dedicated to God, when he initiated her into the vow of Brahmacharya on the 25th of March, 1898.
During May to October 1898, Sister Nivedita went on a tour of Almora and Kashmir region, accompanying Swami Vivekananda. In Kashmir, she observed how the British government refused permission to the Maharaja to hand over a piece of land to her guru to set up a mutt and a Sanskrit college. She realized that the emancipation of India could be achieved only by putting an end to the British rule.
In March 1899, when plague raged in Kolkata, Sister Nivedita organized a group of young men and engaged herself in relief operations. She was seen in every slum in Bagh Bazar area with a broom in her hand, cleaning the streets. In the middle of June 1899, Nivedita left for England. Later, she went to America on a lecture tour with a view to raise funds for her school.
During her visit to Boston, she met Bipin Chandrapal. When Sister Nivedita returned to England, she had to face the vile propaganda of British imperialists. But this only kindled the revolutionary spirit in her. In 1902, she came back to India. Upon her arrival in Chennai, she was accorded a grand reception, during which she proclaimed, "The people of India are fully competent, and no outsider has the right to advise or interfere in their affairs."
Her speech won her admiration, but aroused the anger of the British, who blacklisted her. The Nivedita Girls' School in Kolkata, run by her, was a brilliant example to nationalist institutions all over the country. Sister Nivedita refused to take government aid for the school. She introduced Bande Mataram in the daily newspapers of her school at a time when singing of the patriotic song in public was an offence. She also introduced Swadeshi and the spinning wheel in the school.
In 1902, when Viceroy Lord Curzon appointed the University Commission to strangulate the national education system, Sister Nivedita came to the forefront in protest against the move. From 1906 to 1907, she remained busy with her journalistic work.
Besides writing editorials for the publication Prabuddha Bharat, she was also contributing to journals like Sandhya, The Dawn and New India. In 1907, she left for England to set a favourable atmosphere for the Indian independence through meetings and interviews with British parliamentarians and writings in English journals. Sister Nivedita organized the publication of revolutionary journals from outside India and arranged for their secret distribution in India. She also organized Indian revolutionaries scattered abroad.
When Sister Nivedita returned to India in 1909, most of her associates were in jails. She passed away on 13th October 1911 at the age of 43 in Darjeeling. Her memorial is located on the way to Victoria Falls of Darjeeling with these words inscribed in her epitaph. "Here lies Sister Nivedita, who gave her all to India." That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow. The Central Bureau of Investigation has arrested a sub-inspector posted at police station Maidan Garhi, Delhi, for demanding and accepting bribe of 50,000 rupees from the complainant. A case was registered against Sub-Inspector Bhojraj Singh, posted at Maidan Garhi police station in Delhi on a complaint wherein it was alleged that the sub-inspector has demanded initially a bribe amount of 5 lakh rupees from the complainant. CBI laid a trap and caught the sub-inspector red-handed while demanding and accepting the bribe of 50,000 rupees from the complainant. Searches were conducted at the premises of accused, which led to recovery of cash of amounting to 1.07 crore rupees, along with certain documents and other articles from his residence. Further investigation is continuing.
In Sudan, at least 10 people were killed when soldiers opened fire on pro-democracy protesters who oppose military rule. Meanwhile, the World Bank yesterday suspended its aid to Sudan following the military coup in the country. Political leaders, including the Prime Minister, were arrested on Monday, sparking nationwide protests and international condemnation. World Bank President David Malpass said in a statement that he is greatly concerned by recent events in Sudan and feared the impact it can have on the country's social and economic recovery. In March, Sudan was able to access billions of dollars in grants from the World Bank for the first time in nearly 30 years after it cleared its arrears. The African Union, AU, has also suspended Sudan from the bloc over the unconstitutional seizure of power. The United States has frozen $700 million in aid. Sudan's civilian and military leaders have been in a fragile power-sharing agreement for the past 2 years. The World Bank and AU moves put further pressure on the coup's leader, General Abdel Fattah Burhan, to reinstate the civilian government. Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan will be paying an official visit to the Gambia and Senegal from the 1st to the 5th of the coming month. Ministry of External Affairs has said the visit of Mr. Muralidharan will help in sustaining the momentum in India's bilateral ties with both these countries. India enjoys warm, friendly, cordial relations with both the countries. Over the years, India has been at the forefront in capacity building of youth of the two countries.
The Sensex and the Nifty today witnessed losses of more than 1% in the afternoon trade amid negative global cues. The BSE Sensex tumbled 827 points or 1.35% to trade at 60,316. The NSE Nifty also plunged 256 points or 1.41% to trade at 17,955. In the T20 World Cup, Sri Lanka will take on Australia in their Super 12 match in Dubai at 7:30 p.m. today. Yesterday, Namibia defeated Scotland by 4 wickets in a Super 12 match at the Sheikh Zayed Stadium, Abu Dhabi, to keep its dream run alive in the tournament. In another encounter, England put on a clinical display with both the bat and ball to beat Bangladesh by 8 wickets in a Super 12 match.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. National capital Delhi is having a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 15 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to be 29 degrees. Mumbai is also having a mainly clear sky. It recorded a minimum temperature of 22 degrees, maximum expected to be around 34. Chennai expected to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees, maximum expected to be nearly 32. Kolkata is expected to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The city noted a minimum temperature of 25, maximum expected to be 31. Srinagar has mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 3 degrees, maximum will be around 20. Jammu is having a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 13 degrees, maximum around 29. Leh is expected to have mainly clear sky. Gilgit also having a mainly clear sky. Visakhapatnam will have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain. The city noted minimum temperature of 26 degrees, maximum will be around 33. Hyderabad is expected to have a partly cloudy sky with haze. Bengaluru had fog in the early morning. Now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses India-ASEAN summit, says the relations withstood the test of the COVID period. Prime Minister to embark on a 5-day visit to Italy and UK tonight to attend G20 summit and World Leaders Summit of COP26. Union government to launch mega door-to-door vaccination drive Har Ghar Dastak next month to speed up COVID inoculation. India's vaccination coverage crosses 104 crore mark. Recovery rate improves to 98.2%. In Jammu and Kashmir, 10 people killed in road accident in Doda district. Prime Minister announces ex gratia. Finance Ministry asks all ministries to clear Air India's dues. Sudanese soldiers open fire on pro-democracy protesters. 10 killed. And in T20 World Cup cricket, Sri Lanka to take on Australia in their Super 12 match in Dubai this evening. And with that, we end the midday news.